Do our prayers matter? Is God really listening when I pray? I'm Pastor Isaac Portillo of I Am Church. Let's get into this. Have you ever been praying, and I mean really praying, the kind of prayer where you're just pouring out your heart, you're sobbing, your worries, your hopes, and it just feels like God wasn't listening? Maybe you asked for healing or guidance, or you just didn't want to be alone anymore, or you were just in need for a breakthrough. But the silence was overly deafening, leaving you wondering, does God really listen to our prayers? The Bible, though, assures us in 1 John 5, verses 14 through 15, saying, and this is the confidence that we have towards Him, that if we ask anything according to His will, He hears us. And if we know that He hears us in whatever we ask, we know that we have the requests that we have asked of Him. Yet if God hears us, then why doesn't He always answer the way we want or expect? Well, the answer is simple. It's because we often desire things that aren't truly good for us. Sometimes we struggle with misguided thoughts or wrong thinking, and we pray without the faith and trust that we should place in God. So what do I mean by this? I want us to notice that in verse 14, it tells us that God is not ours to manipulate. He isn't a genie giving us what we want, but it reminds us that the key condition, and it always should be, according to His will. You see, Jesus Himself modeled this in the garden for us when He declared, is there any other way? But at the end of His prayer, it was not my will, but yours be done. This is the right way for us to think and pray. God always hears our prayers, and He's never inactive, even when His silence feels like absence. Just because we don't receive that immediate response, that booming alarm, that doesn't mean He's ignoring us. He answers us, and He answers us in three ways. He answers us with yes, that immediate fulfillment; no, because it's for our ultimate good; or wait, a delayed response for a greater purpose. And I understand waiting can probably be the hardest at times to accept, because it really tests our faith as God calls us to trust and endure. As a parent, I cannot tell you how many times I have said no or not yet out of love to my kids. Because as awesome and as wonderful as they are, they don't always see and understand the bigger picture. They miss a lot of stuff. They don't always know what I know, just like God sees what we don't. Think about it. He's all-knowing. He's perfect. And He knows what's ahead of your life, my life. He knows what's not good for us. So what feels sometimes like rejection is actually His loving protection and an allowance for our growth spiritually. It's hard though, and I get that, because sometimes we don't feel God. But feelings are misleading, and they should never be the rubric and measurement. Sometimes we need to really reflect on one question, and that question is, am I truly seeking God's will or just asking Him to approve mine? Ouch, right? Because if we're seeking God out, He will always provide what we need. He's not going to always give us what we want, but He'll always give us what we need. Jeremiah 29 says, then you will call upon me and come and pray to me, and I will hear you. Keyword, hear you. Even though this message was written to the exiled Israelites, we can still apply this same principle to us today, because God's love for His people hasn't changed. He hears you, He sees you, and He loves you. So even when you don't see an immediate answer, you need to remind yourself that He's always working behind the scenes in ways you cannot imagine. Sometimes His answer is different from what we expected, but because He knows what's truly best for us, it's always the perfect answer. So do me a favor, keep praying, keep trusting, because He is always listening. As always, if you need a place to worship or need someone to talk to, you can join us here at I Am at 10 a.m. on Sundays. And if this message has encouraged you, like, share, comment, and subscribe for more faith-based content. We love you. God bless.